We are here on the Third Party Podcast, episode 5.
So episode 5, we brought out our homie Ije.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ije, and I'm here with my brothers, well, 1.5, on the Third Party Podcast.
Eventually, I'm gonna get the joint
right.
Eventually, I'm gonna get it.
This joint slap though,
because I keep doing the same thing every single time. Here we go. Third Party Podcast, trying to make it last. Get a minute.
Half a bar.
Well, all I gotta do is mumble, and that's what it is.
That's it?
That's all I gotta do is mumble.
Wow.
Yo, it's the Third Party Podcast. Muslim Case in here, a.k.a. the Muslim Boxer, a.k.a. Mr. NyQuil, a.k.a. Mr. 11-0, a.k.a. Mr. Benadryl, a.k.a. Mr. B Snapper, a.k.a. Mr. Pillow Tom, a.k.a. Mr. Night. And I'm here with my guy, Ije DeVoe.
What's up, man? Ije DeVoe, man. Hey, man, let's do it, man.
Let's go.
Hey,
Who we got today?
Listen. We got our homie Ije. Ije is squad. So I would say how you the bro, that's the sis. She's been holding it down with us from day one, man, from all of the nonprofit to the soccer coaching to being a believer and some of the things we do to give back to the community. And I appreciate her for that. And we was like, we got to have her on. So Ije, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
First generation Nigerian, right?
Yep.
Former Division I Trackstar, ran at, where'd you run at?
University of Florida and Penn State. Big dog.
That's like major, right?
That's major.
That's major.
Why she fast? You was EJ Bolt?
For sure.
Definitely committed to education. Ije is currently a teacher. She has you got your bachelor's from
Penn State.
Bachelor's from Penn State, master's from
Widener.
And she is currently in a doctoral program at St. Joe's, right?
Smart black woman. Side note, she also is a baby in the new religion. So EJ just became Muslim recently. So welcome to Islam. We
Assalamu
appreciate you. Assalamu alaikum.
One of the reasons why I asked you to come on was because I do know you private, but I think there's a lot of great things about you and your story and what you've accomplished that like people could relate to. My
parents are Nigerian. And a little bit about that is my parents are Nigerian. My mother actually grew up in New Jersey. So she was here around the age of 12. So she grew up in New Jersey. And I say she grew up in New Jersey because it's like, both my parents are Nigerian, but compared to some of my cousins or other Africans in general, both their parents will have an accent or like super traditional. Like my mom doesn't have an African accent. Like to me, she was here since she was 12. Like she grew up in the States. My dad, he came over here in his 20s, so he spent a majority of his life in Nigeria, right? Mm-hmm. So I was born in New Jersey. Went to school in Bucks County, actually, which is outside of Philly. So I went to school in Bucks County. My dad was living in West Philly. So I think that just there was like, I had a different perspective because having immigrant parents, like especially Nigerian or African, they think education is that's top.
I'm surprised you're not an engineer. I'm gonna be honest.
Right. So it's really funny because, you're surprised I'm not an engineer or a doctor or whatever, because that's definitely what they push. But I was the youngest for a while, so I felt like I had more freedom to kind of do what I wanted to do. And people who know me, it's like you can't really tell me what to do, so I'm gonna end up doing what I want to do. Yeah, like I kind of end up doing what I'm going to do anyway. And I think my parents realized that at a young age, and I kind of had the freedom to, whether it was a fight, I kind of had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. We speak Igbo. I don't speak Igbo. I can understand it. Yeah, I can understand it. I don't speak Igbo. That's another thing. Like, I look at my parents like what's up? Like, what's up with y'all? Like, why? But I, when I do have those conversations with my mom, especially, she says, we want the best for y'all. Like, we just, wanted you guys to, assimilate, go to school and be regular. And we weren't really, that wasn't our main focus, which is interesting because it's like, that's not your main focus, but that's who I am. Like, that's my identity. So,
It's always interesting to me to see how people outside view us and view America and view our culture. I challenge people a lot of times when it comes to preserving African American culture, because for a long time it was something that people was trying to get rid of. People was throwing around words like Ebonics and like, just really trying to separate themselves from African American culture. Which I just think those like heritage is valuable.
Do you feel like you have that Nigerian culture embedded in you, or do you feel like you have like a more of a Philly or more of a American Philly culture?
I mean, it's one and the same, to be honest. Like, yeah, because I have two passports, right? I have dual citizenship. I have a Nigerian passport and I have an American passport. There's no, even if like someone is embarrassed about where they're from, or there's no running from it. Like, that's your blood. So it's like, do I eat traditional African foods? No, it takes too long to cook. Like, yeah, it's just, I don't.
You ain't cooking in the kitchen?
I'm not cooking African food in the kitchen. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
It's comical too, because it's like, where are we going to reduce culture and who you are to what you eat, or to like what you wear, or you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's funny. It's funny.
I think those things are part of culture.
No, for sure.
It
it absolutely is. But to reduce it to that, like to say, oh, you don't eat African food, or you don't cook African food. Are you even African? Are you even Nigerian? So I think it's absolutely a part of the culture. But like to reduce it sometimes, it's like, oh, you're Americanized. Am I? Or maybe I just don't eat goat meat, or or like
bush meat.
Like.
So have you been to Nigeria?
Yeah. So actually, unfortunately, the last time I was in Nigeria was 2006. But this time last year, I was in Ghana. So I did take a trip back to the motherland, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I
would say that you've experienced a lot of success just academically and in life in general.
I'm one of 5, but I'm the second oldest. So my brother is the oldest, and the firstborn kind of always has that pressure on him. So like, he was perfect, getting straight A's, and I was getting good grades, A's and B's. But like, African standard, like, oh, is that a B? My fault, big dog. Like, so it's just and it's crazy. Yes, I felt like, okay, on paper, like, yeah, I am successful, but my parents, like, is she gonna make it? You know what I'm saying? So it's just so funny to hear, like, I guess what I've accomplished, or how you speak of me, or how people speak of me in general. It's just like, oh yeah, like, I really am that. Like, I am that.
You're a successful Black woman. Props to you.
I'm a huge sports advocate. She was a track star. She didn't just run track. So I read a study, and it said that all of these successful women, like CEOs, and have accomplished a lot of them attribute that success to sports.
Oh, for sure. What
are the things that you gained from that experience that you feel like relate directly to where you at now?
Sports in general, yes, but track specifically is a very, I mean, I played all sports, but track specifically, like track athletes specifically, the type of mental that you have to be a track athlete, and I'm sure it's similar to boxing, but all you got is just your body, right? You're not playing with a ball. You don't have a stick. It's literally your body. So you have to take care of your body, because that's all you have. You have to take care of your body. The discipline that comes with that, the training, like, you always say, like, oh, if you ran track or you made it far, like, you're not right in the head. It's work, it's discipline. But again, like, the end result is so rewarding. And I think I use that mindset in anything. And also, like, to be successful on track, you have to talk to yourself a lot. Right. You have to talk to yourself a lot while you're running, while you're training, while you're in a race. Like, you're constantly talking to yourself. You have to frame your thoughts for positivity and make sure your thoughts stay above water and are positive and encouraging. But it's almost impossible, I would say, to be that 100% of the time. With anything in life, like, people always use metaphors like the finish line is right there, right? So, like, I've always ran track, so you can apply that to anything. I'm a teacher. Like, okay, this is this part of this race. This is this part. All right, you see the ending line. It's almost the end of the school year. So it kind of, everything that I apply to in my life is kind of like with a track mindset, and break it up into quarters. And this is when you really take off. This is when you can coast. This is, so I think that a lot of my success is definitely attributed
I want to take that back to like being Muslim. You just became Muslim. And do you find you putting implementing those tasks or those, that thought process into being Muslim?
I think Islam it's a very beautiful religion. And to answer your question in short, yes. So again, being in Philly, being around Philly, it's just, you see Muslims everywhere, right? It's just is what it is. Growing up, you just see it. You may be curious, you may not be curious, but it's so embedded in the Philly culture. It is what it is. It's not. I never really put much thought to it in Islam in general. But you grow up in a religion, right? You don't really choose your religion, which is interesting to me. But you grow up in a religion, right? And at some point, you kind of get away from that, right? You start, I'm spiritual, I'm this, I'm that, or I'm chilling, or whatever the case may be. But there's a time where you get back into, some people, you get back into your religion. So when I was going through that, I was around Muslim people, and I was curious. I had a close friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, yeah, Ramadan's coming up, blah, blah, blah." And again, I've had Muslim friends. I just never cared to inquire. Like, okay, cool. I'll see you in 30 days. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you in 30 days. Like,
she gave a deuce.
Like, it wasn't like, I never was like, what is this? What's,
Stage left.
So, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna do Ramadan with you. Like, I'm a fast, right? I know I could, like, are you sure? Like, sure you're gonna do this? Like, I've been doing this all my life. And I'm like, I can do this. I'm an athlete. Like, I can do anything. Like, so that was like my first intro to it. So I'm like, okay, let me fast. And I did fast successfully fasted.
Was it tough?
I'm kind of crazy. So like, it was tough, but it was just like, I'm doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
put your mind to it.
Like, I'm going to do this.
For people that
like,
don't know, EJ is extremely competitive.
Yeah, that part.
Extremely.
I love that for me.
We love it for you too.
Yeah, so that played a part into it. Like, I wanted to challenge myself to see, can I do it? Like, I want to do this with you. Like, can I do it? When I was fasting, right? And I kind of, a lot of stuff was going on, but I felt very connected, not just to the person my close friend who I was doing it with, but just in general. Like, there's billions of Muslims around the world. Like, everybody's doing this right now. I felt I felt community, even though I didn't know these people. I felt community, and I just felt a sense of connected, like just being connected. So during that process, I'm like, okay, I'm getting up. At first, I was getting up, like, let me get up and eat breakfast. But after, I'm tired. Now I'm sleeping. I'm waking up. I'm hungry. But at that time, I actually I bought a Quran, and I started reading it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like, during Ramadan, I've never read the Bible. I've never read the Bible. Like, why am I so, like, I'm intrigued, so.
That's amazing, right?
I'm intrigued by this. And, it was, I don't want to say it was up since then, but the following year, I did the same thing, but I didn't take my Shahadah, did the same thing. And I think it was then when I realized I'm just like, okay, like I know what I'm supposed to do. Let's just let me do it. But I still was hesitant. I still was just like, well, why do I have to, make it official? Like I feel like I can
keep learning
or keep practicing and keep, But then the more I read about it, I'm just like, nah, like you know what to do, and it's easy to like be in this middle ground. It's easy. So like let's make it official. So
thanks for kind of opening up and talking about what it's been like, and just what led you to where you at. How has that transition been for you?
So to be completely honest, sometimes I feel like a fraud. I'm gonna be honest.
Why?
Just because I don't know. I think, and again, you've been Muslim for a very long time, so I think that for me, at my big age, right? Like I feel like it's almost like I feel like I have so much catching up to do, and it's like, I mean, of course, religion comes first, right? But it's still new, right? So it's still new incorporating it into my life. But I mean, like I want to dive deeper. Like I want to, keep going and like do the right things and all of that. But sometimes I'm just like, okay, I took my Shahadah, but like sometimes I felt like I was more like I was stricter before I took my Shahada almost, if that makes sense. Like I felt like I was,
It's like you jumped over, so now it's like, all right, I'm good now. That's how you feel.
Kinda.
Yeah.
So it's just like, like just keep it all the way 100. Like.
Has it been the pressure? Has it been because you see other people, or is just yourself and that's your mindset?
I was definitely myself and my mindset. Like, and I think that's also another thing that, like, again, is no telling me what to do. Like, people can't influence me. Like, I can't be influenced. But it's just like, I always like to say, like, I was around a lot of Muslim people. Not once did anyone say, like, you need to take your Shahadah. Or why I want to show you that, like.
Or even after, even about the covering thing. Like, how has the covering thing been?
I mean, I don't cover. Well, I challenged myself this past Ramadan. I covered every day. And it was to me, like looking back, it was like, oh, this was a nice, a beautiful transition, because when I first put the hijab on, it wasn't tight. Like it was like, maybe she is, or maybe she's not.
What you
mean?
Literally, like it wasn't tight, like fly, or like,
no, I'm talking about it physically. Wasn't
physically.
Like maybe,
okay.
Maybe she maybe you feel me? Like maybe she is or maybe she isn't.
I was still trying to figure out. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. So like, okay, so it's crazy. So I was at Rayet's house. Janaea hooked me up, good
Shout
sis.
out to Janaea.
Yes. His daughter's, she's like, his daughter is left-handed because he's left-handed, weirdo. But she's like teaching me how to, to do it. I watch YouTube a little bit because I wanted to, look right, But I know, like the first day, even going to work, I'm just like, it feels crazy. It feels crazy. And yeah, it wasn't like physically tight. I had it on, my hair, everything was covered, but it wasn't physically tight. And some of my kids were like, Miss Iheoma, can I fix it for you? I'm like, no, I like it like this. I'm cool. I like it like this.
That is you. That's you. That's you.
Even though you don't like it, you're like, nah, I got this. I got
so
this.
you.
Nah, I got
like,
it.
nah, I'm
Get
cool.
out. Get away.
It's falling off. Nope.
I'm cool. I'm good.
This is how I wanted it.
Exactly.
This is exactly how I fixed it.
Exactly. So then, I went and take pictures or whatever. It was just everything. It was just very, very foreign to me. Very foreign to me. But as the days go on, fasting, praying, and I really didn't know how to pray. I'm still like not 100% on that either, still to this day. But one of my friends who is Muslim, he would FaceTime me in the morning. He would actually lead me in prayer, like on FaceTime. I don't know if that's the right thing. I don't know, but he was doing it. But I don't know. But like he was doing that. And the morning prayer, Fajr, right?
Yes,
Fajr.
Yeah.
as the days go on, now I'm like, I'm super into it. Now I'm like, okay, I don't want any of my hair showing. Like maybe I would have my edges or like, it's just, the progression was, I was like, I was getting more comfortable being covered. And then, and it's crazy. I'm walking into Target and like, people are giving me the salams. I'm like, oh.
How did that feel? Like,
yeah, honestly, at first, I'm like, oh, is he talking to me? Like, I wasn't, all the way aware or realizing it. But after a while, it felt very, very, very good. Very good. Very, like I felt welcome, like almost like, all right, yeah, I'm gang, like, So no, it was just a really, it was a really,
gang.
Yeah, like it was a really good feeling.
Target next time was like that. The Muslim sign.
Yeah, it was a really good, a really good feeling. And just, it felt good. But it's a good question. But yes, at first I wasn't comfortable, but I got very, very comfortable covering everything. Like I felt, I still felt pretty. Like I still felt like a baddie. I mean, it's important.
As you should.
It's really
important to feel beautiful, covered, not covered. Anything,
right. And it's not necessarily covering your body. It's like I really love my hair. Like I love my hair. So it was really like covering my
I think that's
hair.
A conversation that is not had enough when it talks about, especially like with black women and their hair.
I was just about to ask
and
that
covering.
Question. I was like,
and so I really appreciate you sharing this and being open, because like we men, so our perspective and how we feel about it is going to be, I could read something and say this is what you're supposed to do,
right?
But never
not how you supposed to feel,
but never understand the feelings behind that.
Right.
So I think, like for you to be able to talk about this, I think is thank you. I really appreciate it.
My face is a 10 out of 10. So like, as long as I'm not covering my face, like I'm cool. Like I feel good. It was just style wise, honestly, style wise. And I also think that people don't discuss, like after Ramadan, I actually wasn't, I still was covering, even though I committed to 30 days. I didn't take my hijab off right away. I felt comfortable. It's crazy. I really felt, I felt very comfortable. I felt this is great. But my birthday was coming up, which is another story. But my birthday was coming up. So I'm like, ooh, my birthday's coming up. I'm getting my hair done. You get what I'm saying?
And you want to show it.
I want to show my hair. But even again, not wearing shorts, like you're wearing pants, you're wearing long sleeves. Right. It still took me a while to, like, I'm not going to say get back to what, because I'm supposed to be covered, but it took me a while to, like, be comfortable again. Even though my entire life I didn't have any rules, or I didn't have any restrictions, but just that, and that's why Islam is so beautiful. But like just those 30 days, I'm like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I couldn't even. Took me a while to transition. I remember again growing up being around Muslims. Like used to hear people say like, I can't wait till Ramadan, and I'm like why? Like that's so miserable. Like what you mean? Like get in and get out. Like I can't, right? But now understanding what the purpose of Ramadan is, like for me, like not right now, I'm like, I can't 3 months. Like I can't wait till Ramadan. Like I can't wait to have that the discipline. I can't, right. and it's kind of corny because it's just like, well, why wait till Ramadan? You can start right now, and I get it. It's almost like why wait to the new year to start working out? But again, it's there for a reason. I think that's also what I'm so attracted to the religion because of that. Like it's there for a reason, and it's there to bring you back.
I know for a fact it's a lot of Muslims that feel exactly the way you feel. People that have been Muslim
all their lives.
I don't always think it's a place for that voice. I don't always feel like, people feel like they can express their feelings without being ostracized or, judged, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, and not having a space to talk, think, and feel, is oppressive. Born Muslim or not born Muslim, you still have to choose.
Yeah,
You still got to choose.
That's one of the things.
Choice.
That's one of the things that you told me, and that I think about as well. Because when I want to get married, of course, I want to marry a Muslim man because I want my kids to be Muslim. But I remember you telling me that you're like, look, I talk to my kids, and I'm like, at the end of the day, you make a decision, no matter what. I also made a decision, right? So I think that was really, really. It was good to hear that for real.
Like, I love running. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why is because of that inner voice, developing that inner voice. So you kind of mentioned like developing that inner voice. Like, talk about that, like that inner voice.
All right, so that inner voice can be your biggest cheerleader, but it could be your most your biggest downfall at the same time, right? But to realize like when your inner voice is like getting a little bit too negative, but you also got to understand what motivates you, right? Some people are motivated by negative, like some people talk down to themselves to get them.
I know boxers like that,
right?
On both sides.
So I was going to ask you too, as a boxer, like when you actually fighting, is that inner voice like activated?
It's there. It's literally you're talking to yourself the entire time because you can't waste your energy by talking to somebody else and nobody can hear you. And so the crowd's going wild, but now you got to really like, all right, what's going on? How do you feel? And like she said, sometimes that inner voice should be like, man, I'm tired. Like I just want to go to sleep, or I can quit. I can maybe next time, but you can have to find that inner voice and be like, listen, whatever's going on, we'll deal with it later. Let's get through this specific situation. Let's go with it. And so you constantly have to fight your inner self until you get to a point where your inner self, you know where your inner self is, so you know how to motivate in those ways. You know how to think. You know how to, like be in that moment at that time. So, for instance, you just came to London with me. You saw things weren't really going all my way and all that other stuff, but my motivation was the fact that I got my people around me. I got my mom around me. So I use that as fuel with that mental mindset of,
yeah,
I train for this. Like, this is what I do.
I think that inner voice is so important. I actually probably developed mine when I was in the Army. And, we was on long runs and ruck marches, and you just learn to speak to yourself in a way that gets you through. I would say for me, that's the biggest takeaway that I have is like and it's funny because, I look at you like a younger brother. I look at you like a younger sister. One of the things though that I'm always like, even like with my kids, like I want them to have I don't want their inner voice to be my voice. I'm very cautious about telling people what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I want that voice. I just know how important that inner voice is, because that's how you keep going.
I want to add something.
Okay.
About inner voice. So I think what you're talking about in the Army, you had people who are in the Army, especially you, like you may not have played sports, but you're for sure an athlete. Right. And it's having that athlete mentality. And I think it's interesting, like, first of all, don't downplay yourself. When I ran for United Stars based in West Philly, my coach, rest in peace, he actually just passed away a couple months ago. It's crazy. I was a sprinter, right? So you asked if I was Usain. I didn't run the 100, but I ran the 200, 400, and I did the 4x1 and 4x4. So I was a sprinter.
So you had wind.
Yeah, for sure. But I was a sprinter. I'm not running the 800. I could do anything. But anyway, that's another thing for another day. But my thing was, my coach, there's humbleness.
Please continue.
And there's knowing who you are.
Continue,
Thank
please.
you. So I remember my coach. He had this thing in all of us, right? Like we're sprinters, but every day for a warm up, we had to run under 6 minutes before we did our track workout. We had to run a mile under 6 minutes. We're doing this every day. So I'm running 5:15, 5:20 mile every single day before I have a crazy track workout every single day, and it became normal. So he'll fly us out to California. We actually still have the national record for the 4x8, and he'll say like, who trains like y'all? Like he used to say stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm like, you're right. You're really crazy because nobody trains like us.
Right.
These people, like, nobody can beat us because nobody trains like us. Like that was our mindset. And that's why we broke records. That's why to this 20, 30 years, those records are still standing for United Stars, West Philly. Like, so.
I got that mindset in boxing.
Right. So when I started coaching, I say this transition. When I started coaching, I had to figure out like how I can change these girls' mindsets. They never ran track before. And if you know anything about schools, private schools, like these girls, some of them are very entitled. Some of them just really never, really had to like work hard for something, like really, really work hard. So I realized I really had to change their mindsets. So I had them running a mile, you know what I'm saying? I did some of the certain things. And
I used to thought you was crazy.
They did, of course. But I used to ask them like, what are you thinking when you're running? And they used to tell me like, oh, I hate it. I want to quit. I want to stop. And I challenged them, like, try to change your mindset. Try to change your inner thoughts. Like, talk to yourself. Like, oh, I can do this. Like, oh, I just ran 7:30 yesterday. Like, let me see if I can get 7:15. Like, change your mindset, change that inner voice because you probably got to do it anyway. So you might as well kind of like put some positivity into it instead of these negative thoughts. You're going to be miserable. So it's kind of like I had to instill that in them, not necessarily telling them what to do, but like kind of change your mindset. Because when you change your mindset, your body kind of follows. So.
No, I appreciate that. All right, so look, got some questions for you before we wrap up, man. We like to end on a light note.
What's the worst job you ever had?
I actually never had a bad job. So the worst job I ever had.
You never worked retail?
Oh, I love working retail. I have a mindset where like if I have a job that I don't like, I'm quitting immediately. But I guess I can tell you the first job I got fired from.
Okay, all
right. First job I got fired from, good old LA Fitness, right on City Ave.
Oh, really?
Young Bull, yes. I got fired from LA Fitness.
Why they fire you?
They fired me because they probably were hating for real. But they fired me because
no reason, they just hate you.
Hate on what?
Right.
You know, see, a new manager came in, and sometimes when a new manager comes, they want to get rid of the old people and put their people in place. But my job wasn't that impactful. So I would work the front desk or I would be in the pool. So I missed the pool reading. And I had to check the chlorine level. And I did check the chlorine levels. And they were cool. But what I didn't, I forgot to write it down in the book.
Log.
That's it. And I cried. I cried real tears.
You cried when they fired you?
What? Crying. I was crying because I'd never been fired before. I never knew what that felt like.
For that small thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All
right.
I mean, they were hating. Like that wasn't even a big deal. Like, hey, make sure you write it down. No problem. I was like, oh my God. Wow. I was heartbroken.
All right.
Next question. Cheesesteaks or pizza?
Chicken cheesesteaks.
Cheesesteaks or hoagies?
Chicken cheesesteak.
Chicken cheesesteaks.
Not steak, not cheesesteak.
I actually don't eat steak. I don't eat red meat.
You don't eat red meat, okay. But chicken cheesesteak.
Fire.
What's a favorite?
Where you getting it from?
Yeah,
where you getting this chicken cheesesteak from?
Anywhere.
Not anywhere.
Anywhere. I mean, like anywhere.
I'm not a fan of the chicken cheesesteak.
I love chicken cheesesteak.
I like chicken cheesesteak.
Water ice or Mr. Softy?
Oh my God.
Pause.
It's you just. Oh, like. I have to go with Mr. Softy.
Mr. Softy?
Yeah.
What is Mr. Softy?
It's the ice cream truck, bro. It's ice cream.
Like just a random ice cream truck?
No, not random.
It's
Mr. Softy ice cream truck.
A specific Mr. Softy ice cream truck.
It's a franchise. Some wealthy millionaire is a franchise of trucks, man.
Wow.
That's only in Philly?
Might be.
Yeah, clearly.
No, it's not.
Nobody knows about Mr. Softy.
I can go on Twitter right now.
Man, y'all hit in the comments. Do y'all know about Mr. Softy? Anybody else that not from Philly know about Mr. Softy?
It's come up before, so we're going to find out.
All right, last one. What's your favorite Philly word? Slang word. It's a difficult one, I guess.
Did we get somebody else had a little trouble?
It's
I'll tell you what. Go ahead. She about to say it.
I just feel like it's weird to ask.
Listen, that's her favorite word, bro.
Weird. Yeah, yeah. It's weird.
Everything is weird.
Everything is weird.
I feel like that's weird. Ask somebody else. My favorite Philly slang.
Yeah.
Like what slang word you using all the time?
It's just regular. I don't know. What's my favorite?
We're putting
Weird.
Right.
I'm telling you, she just texted. She sent me a whole book last night about how.
But is that slang
how
though?
Mussin is so weird.
He's weird. He's weird. He's definitely weird.
How Mussin is so weird.
I guess I'm weird. I take it. I like myself.
Hey, listen, man. Third Party Podcast.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you, EJ, for stopping through, man, hanging out with us. You know what I mean? But so I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
Being a little bit vulnerable.
For sure.
I think it's going to be a lot out of this episode that people are going to be able to relate to. Appreciate you, Third Party Podcast, episode 5. Get at us.
Oh my God.